Hello everyone, welcome to Shdows Secrit. Tonight, we invite you to step into the shadows of one of the most tragic, terrifying, and enduring ghost stories in human history. A story whispered through generations, feared across continents, and retold under flickering lantern light and around dying campfires. This is the legend of La Llorona, the weeping woman, whose cries pierce the stillness of the night, and whose sorrow stains the rivers, lakes, and villages of countless souls who have dared to listen. Her story is not merely a folktale. It is a tragedy, a curse, and for many who claim to have heard her cries, a chilling reality. To understand her tale, we must walk back into the mists of time, into the villages of colonial Mexico, and beyond that, to the pre-Hispanic myths and cultural echoes that gave birth to her eternal wail. We must descend into grief so profound that it binds a spirit to the earth, and rage so violent that even the grave cannot contain it. Tonight we unfold the sorrow, the legend, and the darkness of La Llorona. The legend begins with a woman once beautiful, vibrant, and full of life. She was said to be admired by her village, envied by women, and adored by men. In some versions, she was named Maria, a woman of humble birth but breathtaking beauty. Her charm caught the eye of a wealthy nobleman, a Spanish conquistador, or sometimes a traveling ranchero of high standing. Against the expectations of society, he fell in love with her. For a time, their love seemed strong and genuine. Together, they bore children, and for a while, the family lived in fragile bliss. But as all legends of sorrow must, this story took a darker turn. The nobleman grew distant. His visits became less frequent. In some retellings, he abandoned Maria and their children altogether, choosing instead a woman of his own social class. In others, he remained in her life but only to visit the children, ignoring Maria as though she were invisible. The rejection burned in her heart like fire. Betrayal, loneliness, and shame clawed at her. One moonless night, driven by grief and madness, she walked her children down to the banks of a river. Whether out of despair, revenge, or sheer loss of reason, she plunged them beneath the dark waters, holding them down until their cries turned to silence. The river carried away their fragile bodies, and the woman, suddenly aware of what she had done, collapsed into a scream so piercing, so filled with anguish, that it seemed to shatter the night. She ran through the village, wailing and searching for her lost children. Some say she collapsed on the riverbank and died there, her soul cursed to wander forever. Others claim she took her own life, consumed by guilt, and so La Llorona was born. Her spirit, chained to the earth by her crime and her grief, roams the waterways of the world, forever crying, "I, Miss Shdows, where are my children?" Those who hear her voice know it chills the blood and seeps into the soul. It is not merely the cry of a mother. It is the cry of despair that has transcended death itself. For centuries, stories of La Llorona spread far and wide, carried from Mexico across Latin America, and eventually into the folklore of the American Southwest. She became a warning whispered to children, "Do not wander near the river at night, or La Llorona will take you." She became a moral tale for adults. Do not betray love, do not let rage consume you, for such sins may never rest. But she also became something far more terrifying. An entity reported by countless witnesses who swear they have seen her, heard her, and even felt her presence. In small towns near rivers, villagers tell of nights when the air falls deathly still, when dogs refuse to bark, and when the faint sound of sobbing drifts through the mist. They describe a woman in white, her face pale and veiled, gliding along the water's edge. Some say she appears dressed as a bride, her gown flowing like mist, her eyes hollow voids. Others say her beauty is so radiant it draws you in, until you see her mouth open in a scream of eternal sorrow. And always she cries for her children. Sightings are not limited to the past. Modern accounts continue to pour in from Mexico, New Mexico, Texas, Arizona, and beyond. Families driving late at night report seeing a woman standing on the roadside, only for her to vanish when they pass. Fishermen have heard her wailing across lakes with no one in sight. Paranormal investigators have captured unexplained cries, haunting female voices, and even chilling apparitions along rivers. For skeptics, these may be tricks of the mind or echoes of wind. But for believers, La Llorona is no mere story. She is a restless spirit whose sorrow remains as powerful as the night she lost her children. Her legend is older than many realize. Some trace her origins to the Aztec goddess Cihuacotl, a deity of motherhood who was also said to appear weeping at crossroads, mourning her children. In fact, Aztec legends describe a ghostly woman whose cries foretold the coming destruction of the empire. When the Spanish arrived and conquest began, her image transformed into the colonial tragedy we know today. In this sense, La Llorona is not just one mother's grief, but a cultural scar of conquest, loss, and survival. She embodies the pain of an entire people, and this may explain why her story refuses to die. Through centuries, La Llorona has seeped into music, literature, and cinema. Songs are sung about her sorrow. Writers depict her haunting riversides. Horror films breathe new life into her curse, reminding new generations that her cries are never far away. Yet no matter the adaptation, one element always remains: her weeping. It is said that to hear her cry is an omen of death. If her wail sounds close, she may be far away. If it sounds distant, she may be near. And if you see her, beware, for she may mistake you for one of her children and drag you beneath the waters to share in her eternal grief. Parents often use her story to keep children safe from rivers, lakes, and wandering in the dark. But it is more than a cautionary tale. In whispered prayers and hushed voices, there is fear that she is real. That the weeping woman is not only a legend, but a ghost condemned to walk the earth until the end of time. Some stories tell of her taking living children, claiming them as her own. In villages, mothers warn their children, do not stay out past dark, for La Llorona searches for replacements for the little ones she lost. This belief has fueled countless accounts of missing children being linked to her curse. Even in modern cases where rational explanations exist, families sometimes insist it was La Llorona who took them. Paranormal groups investigating her legend have attempted to record her cries. Many return with audio files of eerie sobbing, unexplained screams, or chilling whispers that seem to echo through the night air. Others return with photographs capturing vague, white figures near riversides. In some cases, skeptics who laughed at her tale have left shaken, pale, and unable to deny the sound of a woman weeping in the darkness. But what is most terrifying about La Llorona is her persistence. Unlike other spirits bound to one location, she has no fixed home. She has been seen along rivers, in fields, on rural roads, and even in urban settings where water flows underground. She transcends geography, appearing wherever sorrow, water, and the darkness of night converge. This is why she has become one of the most universal ghost stories in the world, and yet her story evolves with time. For some, she is a cautionary tale about betrayal and madness. For others, she is a symbol of a mother's undying connection to her children, twisted into a curse. For many, she is proof that grief, when left unresolved, can echo beyond the grave. She is not merely a ghost. She is grief incarnate. Imagine the stillness of a midnight riverbank. Mist rising, the moon shrouded behind clouds. The water stirs faintly, and the silence breaks with a cry so anguished, so unearthly, that your heart freezes in your chest. You look into the shadows and see her, a woman in white, hair dark and tangled, face hidden, moving slowly along the water's edge. Her sobs fill the air, her hands outstretched, as though searching for something she will never find. And then Her hollow eyes meet yours. That is the moment you realize you are not merely a witness. You are part of her endless search. Across centuries, people continue to tell her story. In every retelling, her cries remain the same. Whether as a warning, a legend, or a chilling reality, La Llorona endures. She endures because grief endures. She endures because sorrow is timeless. She endures because we cannot escape the echo of a mother's wail, torn from her children, cursed by her choices, and bound to the earth by despair. So tonight, as you step away from this story, remember that the rivers and lakes of the world are never truly empty. Listen closely on quiet nights. That sound you hear may not be the wind, it may not be the water. It may be her, searching, weeping, calling for her children across eternity. Beware the night, beware the stillness, and beware the cry that chills your blood. For when you hear it, you may already be too late. Thank you for watching Shdows Secrit. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more terrifying stories from the shadows.